We are now joined by Chioma now to talk more about the series and her panel talk at Comic-Con. Welcome, good morning. You look absolutely fresh for 8:23 in the morning on a Saturday.
Good morning, Masechaba. Thanks for saying that because I'm definitely not a morning person, so I'm glad I'm pulling it off.
We are honored. We really are. So congratulations on breaking the ceiling. But of course, perception versus reality can sometimes be two completely different things. Do you feel that you've broken the ceiling?
Not quite. Also because, I mean, there've been so many people with similar stories before me. Like last year was also Halle Bailey and The Little Mermaid, you know, which is like on such a big scale. But I do think I'm in the stratosphere. I'm in that same, I've like just reached that sort of level of conversation and progress.
Yeah. So now you've broken out and, you know, you're going to be featuring at the Comic-Con after your historic casting. Talk to us about anime. Please explain it to us as if we're 5-year-olds. My grandmother or my grandfather could be watching right now. What is it?
Okay, perfect. So anime is just a storytelling medium. The same way when you read a book, you can have a book that's drama, you can have a book that's funny, you can have a book that's full of romance. Anime is the same. Anime, there's so many different versions of it. You can have romance, just all of it, right? And they tell their stories through the medium of animation, hence the anime. And it takes stories beyond what we can physically see. That's the same reason why we resonate with so many like Disney shows, is because it just adds that element of that fantasy, that magic, that imagination beyond what we can see. And also I think it's very special because like it's like a portal to another world, so to speak. You can see yourself, but like just like in a fantastical lens. And so I hope I did a good job of describing anime, but that's what it is. It's a medium.
Is this similar to Black Panther, for instance, if we are to give an example of what anime is?
Well, that's the thing. Like Black Panther is one kind of movie of movies. It's like saying, is Black Panther similar to District 9? You know, they're both movies. Particularly this show is more like I think Black Panther in how fun it is, how colorful it is, how like the world is vibrant. So One Piece does definitely fall into that category. But yeah, there's many different animes for different styles of stories.
You mentioned in your journey that you've been bullied, particularly as a Black African female breaking into the space. Tell us a bit about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, just I think it'd be naive to assume that we have cured racism or any sort of bigotry and misogyny and etc. And so I wasn't surprised to see all the name calling, which is sad to say, but like all the name calling, you know, different slurs, before even seeing the work, I just had like a flood of people just coming at me just based on my race, which is disappointing, and it's sad that we're still here. But I think it highlights that we are so far from, you know, these things not being a problem. But I also like to highlight that, like in that space, at the same time, it has been progress in that there are people in the anime community that look like me or that are not bigoted, you know, and so. In the same breath where I had those people calling me names and saying all that horrible stuff, I had a lot of different people also rallying behind me, and that was very special to see. People, I didn't have to I didn't have to put them in their place because there were people who were putting them in their place for me, which was just also a delight to see.
Yeah, it shows how far we've come and that people are quite moving along with the process and the journey. Tell us about how the role that you portrayed in One Piece stretched you as an artist, as an actress, and within your personal capacity as well.
I won't lie, like when I think about one very difficult scene, there was like when we first meet the character, I had to spit at my sister. I'm not a spitter, I don't believe in spitting. So like the first take I did, I spat and I felt so bad for spitting. I literally caught my own spit. I don't know what happened. It just like my body could not handle the idea of spitting at someone. So essentially, it stretched me in the sense of like how of anger. You know, the character is quite angry and grieving and in pain. And I'm not someone who's necessarily quick to anger. And so it was very interesting to explore those different things and like to throw that anger at somebody. And also learning how to heal, because this character lost the only parent she knew. And I also was going through a very fresh mourning of my father at the time. And so it was nice to sort of, it was almost cathartic to explore that grief in Nojiko's story.
That's interesting. You should speak about anger, emotions, healing. You are born of a Nigerian father and a South African mother. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and here we are today on the 27th of April, really celebrating or reflecting on 30 years of democracy and what freedom means. What does it mean to you as a Pan-African female, black female actress?
Wow. Freedom is it's so interesting because I mean, you know, our country and our democracy is still so young. But I do feel I mourn certain things in that like there's certain things our generation shouldn't have to be dealing with anymore, and the generation after me shouldn't have to be dealing with anymore. And so um, it would I think what freedom means is just like pushing the needle so that we really do start to progress as a society, as a country, as a continent. You know, a lot of the African countries were supportive of South Africa during our struggle, and I feel like that's just the spirit of Ubuntu that we all talk about. And I'm not the first. I'm not the first and only South African Nigerian combination. There's so many more of us that are out there and that are still currently being born today, which shows the unity of these two cultures and these two, you know, we're different cultures, but like we're different borders, but and different cultures, but we're the same. It's no different than a child being Xhosa and Sotho. You know, it's just we're multicultural, and just because the borders are different doesn't make it any different. And so, I do think freedom looks like embracing that as well, and stop and not fighting our unison, and sort of just leaning into it and leaning into our strengths.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all of the best. We know that you are absolutely going to kill it at Comic-Con, and thank you for your time and joining us on Newzroom Afrika.